Hi everyone, and welcome to And So On Knitting Edition. My name is Lisa, and today I have the Stephen West MCAL to show you, among many other things. Okay, so hopefully you saw my community post yesterday that I'm sorry that I didn't get to post. I was very sick. Well, I had a very bad cold. I still have a pretty bad cold, but I really wanted to get this up. So if I have to stop more often than usual, you'll know why. I'm pretty hopped up on cold medicine, so I should be able to make it through. So I have lots to show you today. And actually that extra day without recording allowed me to finish something and also start something new. So it worked out well because I have more to tell you about. Today I'm sitting in my living room. I know that I normally record upstairs in my tailleur in my studio space, but sometimes that gets a little bit bright. And since I've been spending a lot of time here the last couple days, I thought may as well stay cozy on the couch and record here. So, and I also like the lighting quite a lot. So we'll see if I end up going back upstairs or if I record here over the winter where it's cozy. So as tradition dictates, why don't we start with finished objects? And I have one this week, and it is what I am wearing. This is the Clove sweater by Rachel Knits Things, Rachel Kurihara. And this is my first sweater test knit. So I actually signed up for this before I signed up for the Afra by Isabel Kramer, and I will get to that giveaway very soon. It just happened to be that even though I signed up for this one first, it had a later date to finish, and so I finished the Afra first, and then I finished this one. So this is a really simple pullover, but with lovely details. So it goes top down. It has twisted rib at the neckline, and then a drop shoulder, which I know that can sometimes look messy. I know a lot of people don't like drop shoulder, but for me, this is like putting on a sweatshirt. This is like the knitter's version of a sweatshirt. It's so comfortable and relaxed, and there are certain sweaters that I find I don't put on a daily basis because I don't want to worry about getting something on them or worry about them getting, getting too hot or having to clean them or whatever. And this, I think, is going to be something that I'll wear a lot over like a long sleeve t-shirt because it's just like really comfortable and relaxed. It's great with jeans. I'll put in some photos actually that I took a little while ago so you can see what it looks like with my new jeans. Those are Cézanne, the French brand Cézanne thrifted jeans that I got for about a quarter of their normal price. So I was pretty pleased with that. Anywho, so you have your drop sleeve construction, and then the sleeves stay pretty wide, quite a ways down. And then again, you've got the twisted rib at the end, at the sleeve cuffs is the word I'm looking for. And then I'll stand up, let's see, there's a split hem here. And I did the back one just a little bit longer. I think it's 2 rows longer than the front. This was also supposed to be twisted rib, but I actually just ended up doing a regular 1x1 rib. And it hits me just below, so there's my belly button. So it hits me just below the belly button line. When I first finished this is in Schachenmeyer Merino 120. And I did this fun marled black and white. I thought that would be kind of fun and classic. This took just less than 400. It took 300. Oh, sorry. I know I wrote this down. It took 389 grams. So, and these are 50 gram balls. So that's just less than 8. I actually have one extra because I got a little bit paranoid that I was going to not get it in under the line. And this really isn't all that much left over. And so I actually do have one more of this. So now I have, 60 grams of this. I'll do a hat or something. This, if you haven't used this Schachenmeyer yarn before, this is a DK weight. It's 100% virgin wool. No, that's not true. It's not 100%. I don't trust my brain right now, so I'll put the content here. Super, super soft. So I have a t-shirt on right now, but I feel nothing at my neck, which is where I would feel things first. Nothing on my arms. Very, very comfortable. I can pull these up. Like I said, it's comfortable like a sweatshirt. When I first knit it up, I was very concerned that it was going to be too short, both in the body and in the arms. And I blocked it quite aggressively. I would say that the arms are just perfect. Like when I first tried it on, I thought, ooh, maybe I've overdone it and they're a little bit too long. I know that some people really like 3/4 length sleeves. I do not at all. I'm either too hot and I'm pushing them up, or more likely I'm too cold and I'm like trying to hold them down with my hands. So for me, 3/4 length sleeve is not effective. So I really want to make sure these were full length. And same thing with the front. I was worried because when I first tried it on, it only came to my belly button. And then when I blocked it to the measurements in the schematic, and I'll put a picture of it being blocked yesterday on my patio, on my balcony. I blocked it out to the schematic instructions, although I think I blocked the sleeves a little longer because I have long arms and things tend to be short on me in the arms. So in the end, it did definitely relax down quite a bit. I did use my trick of blocking or of soaking it and then squishing out the excess water and then putting it in my front loading washing machine on the drain and tumble. It's in Spanish, so drenar y centrificar, I think it's called, or centrificar, something like that. Basically, like the drain and spin. The drain and spin. So I did use that, which just makes your life so much easier because when you take it out, it's not sopping. It took the afternoon and then I left it overnight. And by morning, it was totally dry and fine. So makes your life so much easier. Yeah, so in the end, very happy with this. It's very, like it's just a good, solid, great with high-waisted pants. You could probably wear it over a dress. Yeah, it's really cute. So this I actually finished on the couch yesterday while I was sick. And the reason why I didn't finish it sooner is because I decided to join the Shawlography MCAL. Now, don't worry, there will be a spoiler later, but I will let you know in advance. I do want to show everyone what it looks like, but I'm going to give you a time stamp if you want to move forward. So I will let you know when that happens. So you might be thinking, well, the last time you recorded was 3 days before the MCAL started and you didn't mention anything about it. Well, that's because I hadn't decided to do it yet. And then I was watching a couple of fellow podcasters. Specifically, I was watching Leslie Fríend from A Friend to Knit With and Amy Palko from The Meaningful Stitch, two of my favorite podcasters. So I will link them below for you guys, just in case you haven't found them yet. And they were both talking about how much they learned from the process and how much they enjoyed the process of previous MCALs from Stephen West. And initially I wasn't interested because I don't wear a lot of shawls. I'm more of a garment knitter overall. His designs are quite out there. I've never knit one of his designs before. I think I own 1 or 2 patterns, but I haven't made any of them. And I just thought, well, I don't know that I'm gonna like love the product, and so why bother? And then once I was listening to these ladies, I was like, you know what? This is exactly what I need right now. I need some knitting playtime. Like just play. Just don't care about what the project is. Don't care about what the end result is. I'm not saying I don't want to like the end result. Of course I do. But I just thought, you know what? Play as an adult is so underrated, and I wanted to engage in some knitting playtime. And so I signed up. Now, I'm going to start off by showing you yarn that I didn't use. Because I only decided this Wednesday night and it was starting Friday morning or Friday mid-morning here in Europe. I had very limited ideas of what I was going to do in terms of yarn. Because I was thinking of it as solely playtime, I did not want to spend a lot of money on yarn. I needed fingering weight yarn. I wasn't sure what I was going to find at my local mercerias. They're really great for a lot of things, but honestly for yarn, not really. Not a huge amount of selection. So I went to Las Tijeras Mágicas, which you've seen this box before, this box here, because I knew that they deliver like in a day. So I knew that if I ordered Wednesday night, I would get it by Friday. But then I was really limited to what they had, the colors they had, etc. So I ended up getting these colors of Drops Baby Merino. And I'll show you the colors that I got. Let's see here. One's attached to something, so I'll have to be careful. Okay, so I got these colors of Drops Baby Merino in the idea of what he suggested, which is a light, a dark, tonals, and a pop of color. So this is what I initially was going to make it with. And these were on sale, so they were only €2.20 a piece. So basically the whole shawl was gonna cost a little over 20 bucks. And by bucks, I mean euros. When in Rome, right? So the problem is that once I actually saw the clue and started the cast on, I was like, I felt the black and white were gonna be too much of a contrast, for one. And the thing with baby yarn is it's very round. Do you see what I mean? Like it's very rounded, it's very processed, kind of, I don't know if that's the right word. Very quickly I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work. And then I thought, well, maybe I just need to add in a new color. And so I went to my local merceria and I picked up this, which is, let me see if I can find the ball band for it. Yeah. So this is called Ballerina Lanas, Australian Merino Superwash, 100% extra fine merino made in Spain. This was €5.25, so more than 2 of the other ones. But when I started knitting with this, I was like, oh yeah, this is much more the texture that I'm going for. It's much more, I'm gonna be happier with the result. So now I'm gonna show you some of the colors. I don't think the colors are a spoiler. So I'm gonna show you how I came to be knitting what I'm knitting. I wanted to try, well, at this point I had to do something from stash because it had already started, and it's amazing because there's like a 1 hour video for each, well, so far anyway, for each portion that shows you, that takes you through step by step everything. Like the value, I think it's such great value because you're basically getting 1 hour lessons with Stephen West. So I was like, okay, I need to come up with colors from my own stash that I don't have much of, because I have a stash, but my stash is mostly, I don't have 100 grams of things. Do you know what I mean? Like I kind of have bits and bobs or things in different weights. I needed 5 100-gram fingering weight skeins, and that was going to be a challenge. So here's what I ended up doing. Number one, I frogged something. Do you guys remember the vest? The Blacker Yarns vest that I was working on in that beautiful chocolate wine color from La Mona Lina. It's this one here, and I frogged it. And I don't feel bad about it. Honestly, I wasn't really looking forward to wearing it. It was kind of one of those things that I cast it on because it was what I could get out of the yarn that I had, and I wanted to do something fun with it, or at least something, like I wanted to try and get a garment out of it. And so in the end, I frogged it, and I feel totally fine about that. So this is my color 1. And then color 2 is, what is color 2? Oh yeah, so then color 2, you wanted like a light, something, a framing color. So I had a skein of this speckled yarn from, just from last year that I never ended up using. Just a white, you know, natural with some speckles, and the speckles happened to work with a lot of the other colors, so that worked out well. So then I had these two, and then it was like a pop of color, So all of a sudden I went, well, could I have 2 that add up to 100? And I took if you remember when we went to Barcelona there for our anniversary, I got 2 mini skeins or half skeins of La Bien-Aimée yarn. And so these are my 2 La Bien-Aimées that I'm using as my pops of color, and I use them, that's probably closer to the color. It's like a very dark teal and then a lighter blue teal as well, like a turquoisey teal. So then I had these together, and then, so this was color C altogether. And then color D, I used the Olan yarn that I frogged from a sock. I had half of it from a sock. So this is Olan sock light, and I forget the colorway, but I'll put it down there. Again, something that I'm really happy to use in this context, and I think it works beautifully. And then lastly, the gray that I already bought. So let's see if I can hold this up. Okay, so here it is, holding up the newborn baby of yarn to show you guys. This is my color palette. As well, Stephen talked about having some backup dancers as colors, which I love. And I've already brought in a backup dancer, and that is this yellow that you'll see in a second. And this yellow I use in part of the Clue 1 because again, for play, right? Like the safe choice would have been to just stick with the colors I had, and I wanted to play, and so I did this. Okay, now I'm going to show you the shawl. So if you don't want to see it, then come back at this timestamp. Here, I'm gonna go get it. I've put it over there out of the way. Okay, so here we are. This is a cross section. Let's see how well I can hold it up. It's not easy to hold up. Let's see if I can hold up Clue 1 first. All right, so here is Clue 1 went up into these yellow rings. Do you see the yellow rings here? Someone called them yarn shrimps, which I think is hilarious. But Lily picked these for me because I was trying to decide between doing the teal and doing the yellow, and she said, "Mommy, it'll look like a sun." And she's right, it does kind of look like a sun. And all of the other colors are in these gaps here, in these wedges. I love all of the detail, all of the color combos. And then in the second week, we added on from these yellow bands here. So we've got a slip stitch section, we've got some triangles, we've got these little nubby things, these welts and baubles, and then this garter, well, not kind of a modified garter section here, these wedges. And I love the way you can see portions of that Olin yarn really coming forward, like all of those little speckles. Again, so this was my color C second option. I could have brought this in instead, the other blue, but I thought, you know what, let's play. So there we are. Again, not easy to hold up. I have ordered some of those cables, the Knitting Barber cables, to put things on and off stuff easier. So next week I'll be able to show you more, but I am so loving this. This is so much fun. And I actually got a lot less done over the last 2 weeks because I only wanted to knit this. Like, I'd be like, okay, finish this, and then work on something else, and then come back, and I didn't want to. I had finished Clue 1 by Tuesday, and so I had to wait Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for the next one to come out, and that's when I got other things done because I had finished. Now, I literally just finished this section just before recording because I wanted to finish this. So I took yesterday off of this mostly, and I finished this off, but I have this done, so now tomorrow I get the new Clue. So that's really exciting. My first time doing baubles. I've never done these welts before. Like, look how cool those are. Anyway, I love it. It's just super fun, and I'm so glad that I decided to go for it, and I'm so glad that I have these yarns instead of those yarns. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna put this all out of the way, and then we can welcome back anyone who wanted to take a break. Okay, welcome back if you were taking a little break. So on to more works in progress. So when I no longer was using these yarns for the MCAL, I thought, okay, well, it's not really worth returning 20 euros worth of yarn because it's going to cost me 10 or almost 10 just to mail them. And I have 2 baby knits coming up at least. And so I've started another test knit. I've started 2, but I started another test knit, and I'll put in a picture of this one here. Forgive me, in my less than 100% state, I forget the name of it, but I'm gonna put it down there. It's a really cute little pullover. I thought it was so cute and sporty. I'll put in pictures of the originals. It's not easy to see right now, but I love that it was color blocked, and it kind of came up at exactly the right time, and I thought, this is perfect. I'm just gonna cast this on. So there's a little girl being born, a little boy being born, and so I thought I could divide up the colors. So I'm gonna do these 3 for the girl, and I'm gonna do these 3 for the boy, I think, just to use it all up. And yeah, I think I'm gonna do them both the same pattern. We'll have to see. I have to fold down this neckline here. So that's it's a bit on the back burner. It's not due till mid-November, so I've got a fair amount of time on that. So But the babies are due before the test knit is due. So I have different kinds of deadlines for that one. But that'll probably will get work done next week. I wanted to show you, even though I haven't put any more work on it, when I decided to do the MCAL, I needed the cable back from my Nick shawl by Natasha Moonstruck Knits. And so I put it on waste yarn and I blocked it, or I soaked it at least and washed out all of the spinning oil, which with the black there's quite a bit. But I just thought you might want to see this is all whole super soft, and I thought you might want to see the super soft blocked and just how beautifully the color work sits. To me, this is still scratchy. This is not next to skin soft for me. But once it gets done and it has its tassels, you know, like I can see it being really, like I love the colors. I love the red and everything. So clearly this is a very poor rendition, but you'll get an idea of how nice it's gonna be. So this will go back on the needles in November once the MCAL is over. I have Lily's vest, which is the Esther vest by Camijo Knits. And I also put a bit of work on this last week when I had finished the MCAL Clove on Tuesday and needed something else to do. So this is quite far along. So I'm making the smallest size, and Lily's only 13. She's pretty teeny, and I tried it on her. And what we realized is we don't need kind of all the extra space up here. So I ripped this back about this much and put it onto waste yarn. And then this is the other side that I still need to finish off. And then I'll finish off the back. But yeah, like I think it's looking really good. I think the cables are looking really nice. And you can see where it's going. Peekaboo. You can see where it's going. It's almost done. Like I could finish this obviously off in an evening and pick up the back and get that going. I only have, I have this much left. I think it's a fair amount. Considering I only have a tiny bit of this and the back to do. I think I can do it. And like I said, it is a little bit big on Lily. If I had known, I probably should have reduced a little bit on the back and put fewer back stitches on there, because I'm just leaving the back plain, right? I'm not doing cables, so I probably should have reduced a few, but live and learn. Acquisitions. So when I said that I wasn't getting any more yarn, first of all, I'm never saying that again, because I swear if I ever say I'm not getting any more yarn, something comes up that I need, want, have to have something. Like it never fails. So I'm just never saying that again. Hold me to it. However, I also had the dates wrong on Barcelona Knits. I thought Barcelona Knits was like the second or third week of October, and it's not until the end of the first week of November. So it's a lot further away than I imagined. So I do have a very little bit of acquisitions. First of all, my knit crate came, and this is beautiful. Look how dreamy that is. Again, the color is kind of like that. Like this is a little bit blown out. It's slightly darker. The tone is right, but it's slightly darker in person. So this is Vidalana Oasis, 50% alpaca, 25% Peruvian Highland Merino, and 25% Sari alpaca. 252 meters, 100 grams, DK weight, and there's 2 of them. So I think Christmas gifts with this. I want to do some Christmas gifts for some of my dear friends that I've made here. So I think this is beautiful for a Christmas gift. The other possibility is to work it into a sweater, but I've been making so many garments lately, I think Christmas gifts is a better idea. And then the only other thing I have is there's a wonderful shop in northern Spain. I think it's northern Spain. It's in Galicia, I think, named Mimosa Cafe Lanar. No, Cafe Mimosa Lanar. I always get it confused. Sorry, I need water. I think it's Mimosa Cafe Lanar, because that would be Mimosa knitting cafe or yarn cafe. And I think it used to be a storefront, and then I think with the pandemic, she's now just online. You want to follow her online. I'm going to put her @ here, her Instagram handle. She lives in a beautiful house out in the countryside in Galicia. I believe it's Galicia. And it's just idyllic. Like, she has a dog, and like things get dropped off at her house on the stone steps, and like she and her friends have a knitting circle that they do, outside at a big table in like kind of a barn kind of setting, or it seems like that. Like, it's just very beautiful. Her Instagram is very beautiful to watch if you watch her stories. Anyway, she only carries maybe like, I don't know, I could be underestimating, but I think she carries about a dozen yarns. I think she carries about 5 or 6 suppliers, but she picks just the really best ones. And she carries Ulysse yarn by Deraram Natura. So I was trying to get my hands on the Ulysse for my Afro sweater, and I couldn't get my hands on it because they're a small producer and they've been having a lot of problems with getting the yarn that they want to use. And so they're sold out everywhere, and some of their colorways are sold out until next year. And so I made the mistake again of following that Instagram. It is dangerous, I will say that. And she had a whole bunch of Ulysse arrive, and I knew that it was not going to last long. And so and it's also very reasonably priced. So I got myself a sweater's quantity with one contrast color if I decide I want to do a color work yoke or something and I want a contrast. So I got 5 of these, and these are €7.50. She sells them for €7.50 a piece, which is a very good price. And you're getting 185 meters for 50 grams, and it's sport weight, and it's 100%. So it says in French, let's see if I can translate. So it's made from the soft and fluffy wool from merino sheep from Arles, which is in Provence, raised respectfully in Provence for certain colors. It's associated with they use the black merino sheep from Portugal, raised in the Alentejo Valley with traditional methods. And it's spun and dyed in France. That's a lot of translation. Beautiful yarn, beautiful, definitely next to Skin Soft, non-superwash, lovely stuff. Don't have a plan for it yet. So I do have a couple of ideas, and maybe at the end I'll show you a few of my ideas and you can tell me what you're thinking of, what you think. I'm also thinking maybe I should wait until another test knit appeals to me, because I seem to be really test knit focused lately. It's a phase I'm going through. I'm keeping all this stuff in this thing that my daughter got a weighted blanket, and it came in this, and I'm like, perfect for yarn. So that's what I'm keeping it in. Okay, the giveaway. Forgive me for waiting this long. Thank you so much for entering the giveaway. I know I've heard from a few of the podcasters that you guys went over and visited, and it really did what it was supposed to do, which was give them a lift, give them some excitement in that new people were coming to their channel, maybe give them a little lift going into their next video. And so thank you for that. So the winner of the Afro sweater by Isabel Kramer is Bog Dem. I use the comment picker. And she says, thanks for letting us know about the knitting podcast. Always great to check out new ones. Northward Knitter and Thoughtfully Made are 2 that I liked. So Bogdem, if you want to drop me a line on Instagram would be easiest, or you could send me an email and I will get that pattern to you right away. If you can put your Ravelry name in there if you have one, that would be great. Okay, so the very last thing is I've been accepted to another new test knit, and let me tell you really quickly about test knitting, just in case you're like, what is this test knitting thing? And maybe if you're interested. So I learned about it. I mean, I've always known what test knitters are. I test knitted a pair of socks last year, but I was watching a video by Mel Make Stuff, and she talked a little more about test knitting. And then I watched another one that talked about becoming a good test knitter and what that entails and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, this is really interesting. Like, I don't know, it just appealed to me. So I saw the Afra and the Clove both on Instagram, but one place you can go if you're interested in just finding out about test knits is Yarn Pond, and I'll link them below, and it's free, and you just sign up and they send you a digest every day of people looking for test knitters. So it's kind of fun. Actually, this little baby sweater is from Yarn Pond. I had just decided that I was not going to use that yarn for the MCAL and I needed to find something else for it. Then that came up in an email. So Yarn Pond is a great place. And then the other great place is the groups on Ravelry for whichever designer you like. So join the groups of the designers you like. I'm in the groups of, I'm only in maybe 10 or 12 groups. But for instance, Isabel Kramer, Sari Nordlund, Moonstruck Knits, Camijo Knits. I'm in some of those, and then they post them, but they're very fast because people, of course, like to get these spots because it's fun to work with a new design. So I happened to yesterday just go into groups, and then I just looked at what was new in groups, and I saw Sari Nordlund had posted for the Billie pullover. I'll put in a picture here. This is a little intense. I've never done a cabled sweater. I've done cables on sweaters, but I've never done a fully cabled sweater. But I thought it was really cool, and I don't know, she actually had two up yesterday. There was also like a zip front pullover, but this just appealed to me. And so I applied, I put my name down with my email, and then I got an email yesterday saying I was accepted. So that's really fun. I had actually been looking at cable sweaters because Eric of Sticks+Twine is doing a cabled sweater knit along, and I kind of had it in the back of my mind anyway. And so I'd been browsing. I actually really like, I'll put in a picture here. There's a new book, a worsted book coming out from La Bien-Aimée. And this one here by Nora Gone, ooh, I think that's really pretty. I could actually still see doing that maybe at another time. But I just decided, why not? And for this cabled one by Sari Nordlund, I don't have to finish the whole thing. So the test date ends November 30th, but you only have to finish the yoke and one sleeve. So it's not like you have to finish the entire sweater by November 30th. So yeah, that's what I decided to do. So she uses Cascade 220, which is a very well-known workhorse yarn, very reasonably priced. I had thought about maybe getting the Gilead yarn or the Gilia yarn, also from De Rerum Natura, but again, sold out everywhere in the colors that I wanted, and also more expensive, and I'd like to keep the cost down. So I ordered 5 of the burgundy. I'll put in a picture here. I ordered it from a German place called Milice. I'm gonna guess pronounce Milice. And I also got the cords from the Knitting Barber. Those should come tomorrow. So those were €9.50 a skein, and I got 5. So I think that's reasonable. Oh, my camera's going to die. I'm gonna hurry up now. So I'm gonna work on that. I'll show you guys next time the yarn, and I'll show you more on my MCAL. And yeah, I guess I'm gonna go before my camera dies, but I hope that you guys are enjoying knitting, getting cozy wherever you are, and hopefully I'll be back later in the week with some sewing, as long as I'm still feeling okay. So I hope that wherever you guys are, the sun is shining and you are sewing or knitting, and I will see you soon. Bye. Are you gonna die now? You can die now, I'm done.